Let's begin this hour in the nation's capital, where the Supreme Court of Nigeria moments ago adjourned the case on the Naira swap policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria till Wednesday, the 22nd of February, for hearing of the consolidated suits by 10 states. The seven-man panel was led by Justice John Okoro. He said the court should not lose sight of the case and its intention as it affects the suffering of Nigerians. At the last hearing, the court had temporarily banned the implementation of the February 10th deadline of the CBN from making the old 200 Naira, 500 Naira, and 1,000 Naira notes legal tender. The Zamfara, Kogi, and Kaduna states thereafter instituted the suit against the federal government and the CBN. Other states, Niger, Kano, Ondo, Ekiti, also applied to be joined in the suit against the CBN and the federal government. Lagos State, through its Attorney General, Moyosoro Onigbanjo, also applied, seeking to be joined in the suit. Let's take you back to our earlier story about the Supreme Court's decision as they adjourned the case on the Naira swap policy of the CBN. I've got joining me TVC News judicial correspondent Celestina Area from Abuja. Thank you so much for joining us, Celestina. What more do we know about the latest from the Supreme Court's decision?
Okay, after today's sitting, it means that the order made on February 8th by the Supreme Court still subsists, which is to say that the 200, 500, and 1,000 Naira notes, the old notes, are still legal tender. Though we know that the CBN ordered that those money would no longer be accepted. But the sitting today, the court made it clear that it order made on February 8th to subsist. The order was given, stating that pending the hearing of the suit brought by the state government, and the suit have not been heard, and the court adjourned to 22nd of February for hearing. So, which means the order subsists. The counsel to the state government made it known to the Supreme Court today that the order made by the Supreme Court has been disobeyed. But the Supreme Court said that whatever they are doing here is for the interests of Nigerians, and they should not lose sight of the sufferings that they as justices are also feeling the impact. So peace should be maintained, the order should be obeyed, and they should come on the 22nd of February so they can all hear the case and further decide it.
Implication of this, because the federal government, the CBN, actually said that the February 10th deadline, it's actually going to, stay. But then we know that there are protests now in Ibadan and some other states who are already protesting against the decision of the Central Bank of Nigeria. What does this imply for Nigerians on the street?
Well, we cannot say the CBN is acting as though they were not members or parties in the suit before the Supreme Court. So the order made on February 8th is not binding on them. The Supreme Court is answerable. The CBN, the CBN governor is answerable to somebody and answerable to a ministry. And the order was made against the federal government through its agencies, ministries, the Central Bank of Nigeria, or any other commercial bank, to maintain status quo. So the CBN cannot say they are not aware of the order of the court, or they were not parties to the suit. And if you look around, this is biting hard on many people, because having cash is a problem. Some persons can only withdraw 1,000 Naira, while some can withdraw a maximum of 20,000 Naira. While some people spend the night on ATM stand just to withdraw money. And the quickest around our streets are the points of sale, and those they give exorbitant charges. So it's very difficult. Sales are going down, you cannot purchase anything. We are going to cashless policy, but most persons are not even accepting the cashless policy because they don't operate bank accounts, they don't have bank apps, so transfer is difficult. So when this speculation that this is targeted at some certain persons, but because of the general election approaching, and the CBN governor had come out to say that it's a temporary pain that Nigerians will adjust is to curb insecurity, banditry, votes buying, and voters inducement. But it's a temporary pain with a permanent damage. Look at what is happening around us. So it's important that this is quickly decided, as the Supreme Court justices have said, that it is a matter of urgency that needs to be decided very quick before it snowballs into something very worse.
Makes sense. So that means that Nigerians can still continue to go about with the way things used to be before the CBN's position. Thank you so much, Celestina Area, TVC's judicial correspondent from Abuja. Thank you.